I'm seriously at a loss for logic as to what the fuck Bungie and Activision are doing right now. It's as if they want to piss off their fans and insult their players as much as possible to see how much money they can still make. It's absurd! Between their interviews, their videos, their reveals, their marketing, I think anything Bungie has to do right now should come with the Trollolo song. Even a fucking YouTube auditor stopped fucking himself for a few minutes to scratch his head over all these decisions. Holy shit, man. There are so many things to discuss, so many things they've done wrong, and the worst part is their toxic community of ass-licking fanboys blindly defend and support this shit. It's like the fucking Twilight Zone or something, man. Now, when I started this rant, I realized that, number one, it was going to be a long-ass rant, well over 30 minutes once I'm finished eviscerating every single goddamn thing when it comes to this. And number two, the rant addressed two separate problems with Destiny. The studio and the publisher, and then the horribly toxic community that this game serves. So, I'm breaking this rant into two parts to make it easier to follow. Today is about the company mistakes, and tomorrow's video is about the community mistakes involved. Because a big problem with Destiny is the fact that there are people who will actually defend some of this bullshit. Let's start from the beginning. It's no secret, I like playing Destiny, flaws and all. The mechanics are fantastic, the gameplay is familiar, and playing with friends is the best part about this game. Collecting shit is always fun, and like any game, I get my fill of the game, and then my interest will take me to something else. I played the shit out of Destiny at the beginning of the year, I took a break to play some MLB The Show, I came back for House of Wolves, and now that I got my fill of the recent DLC, I will most likely start scaling back on how much I play, collect my last few items, and then find another game to hold my interest in the future. That's normal. People want to play other things even if they enjoy a certain game. But in liking a game, there are always things you want done better. I loved playing Mass Effect 3, and I bitched about all their bad decisions because I wanted it to get better. I like Call of Duty at one point. And I made the entire Blueprint series on what they could do better. I like Destiny, and there are things they can do better. However, Bungivision, and that's their name for now, Bungivision is doing everything in their power to push people away from this game, myself included. Now, we have to make the distinction first so people quite understand this. When it comes to the pricing structure, that's all Activision. Activision is in charge of the price, they're in charge of how much they want to charge people, they're in charge of how much they want to release. That's what their job is to do. Bungie is to create the content and market the content directly to us. Activision tells them this is going to cost $20. Bungie has the job of telling us this is what the $20 is going to get you. That's how the relationship works. Most of the decisions come from Activision, not Bungie themselves. So even if Bungie doesn't agree with it, they have to go along with it. Think about it if you worked at any other job. Your boss tells you, you have to tell someone something you don't agree with. You have to tell someone where you're going to lose your job. It's not up to you to determine that. Your boss is telling you, tell that person they're going to lose their job. That's not something you might not want to do, but it's your job to go out there and do it. Essentially, Activision is telling Bungie, this is what you have to tell the customers and how much they're going to pay. And Bungie comes out and they just can't do it, and every time they do it wrong. Now, I don't want to paint Bungie as the victim here because they're just as guilty as Activision. They knew what they were getting into when they accepted $500 million for this 10-year program. So I don't want to hear this bullshit. They got their fucking money. Now they're realizing that the assholes they work with are a bunch of dickheads who only want money. So you know what? I feel no sympathy for them. And in feeling no sympathy for them, you see all the fucking mistakes they've made, which I'm going to detail now one by one. Because it does not matter how much you enjoy playing a game. There's a finite amount of bullshit a game can put you through before you just walk away. And personally, I'm at that point where walking away just seems like the best option. So the next DLC on the horizon is The Taken King. And the amount of shit wrong with this DLC is brain-fuckingly amazing. In all honesty, this looks like it's Destiny's first legitimate expansion pack with new areas, new content, and all that other shit. The prior two DLCs, they wanted to call expansion packs, but they were really just unlock packs. We didn't get any new areas to explore. We finally unlocked areas that we had in the game that were filled with placeholder enemies. That's not an expansion. Expansion, just by name alone, gives an aura that your game is expanding. Not unlocking shit we already know is in the fucking game. Not removing placeholder enemies you had in place since the alpha and the beta of all things. So even though The Taken King looks like a first true expansion pack, Bungivision has decided to make their players eat piles of shit in order to play this. From the $40 United States price to the ridiculous $50 to $60 price tag in England, Australia have to pay for that motherfucker, to the red bullshit lock content, to the interviewing Eurogamer, their makeup plans that ask for more money, to the cancerous fans that defend this shit, The Taken King has turned into a shit show, and it's all Bungivision's fault. From the beginning, Destiny has never been a $60 product. Never. It had zero story. It had areas on the map we couldn't visit because they were cut for future content, DLC. You know, we had those videos showing us the reef before release, the Citadel, even the fucking lighthouse from Trials of Osiris. I didn't even realize it until I just saw it recently, but they already had the cutscene for the lighthouse in the game. Whether or not the lighthouse was in the game remains to be seen, but the cutscene was already there. There's no definitive proof that all of this content was cut for DLC, but there's enough consequential and circumstantial evidence to lead to the conclusion that Destiny was butchered up and sold in parts. Destiny feels like a $30 game compared to other games on the market in a similar scale. This is not Skyrim, this is not Mass Effect, this is not World of Nerdcraft, Grand Theft Auto, Assassin's Creed, or any of that shit. Destiny doesn't have a true peer on the market when it comes to open shared world shooters, but these games have similarities that allow you to make comparisons, and all those comparisons show that Destiny has far less content. It feels like $30 worth of partially incomplete content. The unlock packs are exactly that. We would charge $20 each or $5 off if you got the season pass. And even though I never bought that shit, I'm still grateful to my subscriber for giving me his season pass because he couldn't just tick that shit. But they only unlock shit. They expanded on nothing in the game. They unlocked that Warmind base. They unlocked parts of the moon previously unseen. They gave us a strike locked behind a fucking wall. Changed the Citadel to something else, but it was unlocked for the first time. Otherwise, we were doing missions which were in the same areas as strike missions, only played backwards. You want to chase down Omnigo? You're going to do the fucking Devil's Lair strike in reverse. You want to chase down Stolas? You're going to do the Archon Priest mission in reverse. Those are bullshit, and they're not worth the $20 price tag. They were only worth about $8 and $12 if you were to price out the amount of unique shit that we got in the original game. That's pricing Destiny out at $60. If Destiny was priced out at the $30 to $40 price tag that I've already mentioned, this content drops to about $4 to $7 a piece, just based on mathematical calculations. But let's give Destiny the benefit of the doubt for a second. Let's just say the original game is worth about $40 of content, and the original DLCs are $10 a piece. In total, that's a $60 product. That feels like a complete game. That's a price countless people would have felt like is a fair value for the amount of content that we were getting. Okay, so you cut out the content. Why not cut down on the price? Of course not, because this is Bungivision we're talking about. With the Taken King, it's obviously bigger than the prior DLCs. It's an actual expansion pack for the first time around. For that, $20 to $25 would seem reasonable based on the prior price point that I just put on their content. Vanilla Destiny was not a complete game. The first two expansion packs were not expansion packs at all, and now you have an actual expansion pack experience. But Bungivision values this at $40. Realistically, it's about half of that, and just one of the issues people have with this game. With the discount, Bungivision is stating that Vanilla Destiny, Season 1 DLC, and the Taken King are worth about $140. By my count, it's worth $80 to $85. And I'm sure if you were to tell someone that for $85 you can get all of this, they will be happy with that price tag, because that sounds like a fair price for everything based on what we got. Which leads me to item number 2 that Bungivision pissed people off with, the Legendary Edition. Bungivision has decided to roll out a disc for brand new players that comes with the original game, Dark Below, House of Wolves, and the Taken King. So, those who paid $140 in year 1 when you buy the Taken King content, see that all the content only cost $60. Shit, I just said it was $80 to $85 was a great value for long-time players, and now there's a $60 option for the newest players? Look, I don't mind Game of the Year editions. I actually like the concept. If a game sold well, usually developers release a Game of the Year edition that comes with all the DLC content. Mass Effect 2 did it, and I loved it. Fallout 4 did it. Cocksuckers rip people off for that shit. Batman Arkham games did it. That's not the issue. The issue is that the Taken King is being included in that package, which states that Destiny and its DLC is only worth a total of $20 fucking come September. So let me get this straight. For people who paid $20 for House of Wolves in May, just 4 months later, you're gonna tell me the retail value of that price is about $5? Really? That's the message you want to send to older players in hopes of luring new players? I can understand original Destiny and all the 2 DLCs together in one package. I get that. I like that idea, actually. But you're going to add your brand new $40 product to the mix and value your current shit at only $20? For new players, they're not going to get into the game right now. Nobody's going to rush out and buy Destiny this minute because they're going to wait till September and get all the content because that's where the incentive is. It's a great deal for new players, but as older players, you quickly see the value of something dropping so fast, it makes you wonder, why do you bother paying full price for something in the first place when there's going to be an impending price drop that will occur in the future? What it should have been was keep either the Legendary Edition as the just released content that we have now without the Taken King included, or if you're dead set on the Taken King being in there, release that total product for $70. That way, the DLC is priced at $40, and the original game and DLC is priced at $30, and older players at least feel like, well, for $60, I'm getting less. For $70, they're going to actually pay more. That's a fair price, because right now, that $60 Legendary Edition is really just a kick in the dick to people who have played since day one. Your most loyal fans are pissed off by this. And it's not because that you're lowering the price for newer players. It's not because you're rolling out some version of a Game of the Year edition. It's that you're valuing what we've paid already far too low compared to what we're still going to have to pay in the future. It is total bullshit. Now, speaking of kicks in the dick, I know my European and Australian fans are feeling a twinge in the nutsack over the currency exchange. Because more than anything, this is what's bothering you guys. In the United States, DLC is going to be priced at $40. Bungivision has decided to carry that number 40 over to euros, pounds, Australian dollars, and whatever the fuck New Zealand players play with. Fuck it, I'm just going to call your currency Kiwis. In South America, particularly Brazil, it's even more expensive than outright $40 because of the high import tariffs the country has. So as of right now, the United States will pay the cheapest price for the Taken King. But England and their equivalent is much higher, something like 50 to 60 US dollars. I think it's 63 US dollars if I'm not mistaken. Same with Australia, something like $55, and in Brazil is something like $80. That's fucking ridiculous. On top of that, you mean to tell me that the Taken King is worth $63 in England, but the original game, which was scaled down the price, is only worth 60 US dollars? Get the fuck out of here, man. They're not adjusting the price when it comes to outside areas, and to me, that's just absolutely criminal. I don't live in these countries, but even I know that's a fucking ripoff, and you guys are being fucking ripped off. It's insulting. And when the issue is brought up with Bungie in the interview, which I'm going to talk about, they brush it off as foreign. Oh, that's foreign to me, and I'm just going to dismiss it. Oh, get the fuck out of here, man. Just because you're in the United States, that doesn't mean it's not your problem. It means it's everybody's fucking problem. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. If someone is paying more because Bungivision can't bust out a fucking calculator, that's a fucking problem. It's a big fuck you to international players outside the United States, and their shitty flippant and non-existent reaction to this is fucking bullshit. It's more of a public relations nightmare for them compared to all the other shit that they've done before. The price of the DLC, much like the original game, should be at least equivalent across the board, and more importantly, it should not be more than the original game. England should not be paying $63 for the Taken King and only $60 for the original Destiny. That is total bullshit. You need to scale that shit down. It does not need to be 40 pounds. It needs to be 20 pounds or whatever the fuck it is. Scale it back to where it's actually equivalent to US dollars, because right now, you're basically telling all these international players, pay me more, otherwise they're not going to get the game. If I'm in England, and I'm in Australia, and I'm in Brazil, and New Zealand, I'm telling Bungie, fuck you, I'm not buying this bullshit, especially knowing that you guys lower the price in the fucking future with future goddamn releases and shit. It's absurd that all they're doing is catering this game to Americans. But hey, let's insult you guys even more, because we're going to put content behind a fucking promotional war with Red Bull. Oh yeah, this is fucking brilliant. Let's have an outside company with zero ties to this game hold a downloadable key to a locked mission. Now, I'm sure this mission is going to be garbage. It's probably going to be completed in all of 3 or 4 fucking minutes. But that's beside the point. An outside company now has locked content, and the only way to get that content is to buy a can of that overly sugary monkey piss flavored sewer water. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. It's not even downloadable content of the microtransactions. Now you're talking going to a store and buying this sugary shit to access this fucking crap. You know, Dying Light had the perfect trolling response to Bungivision with this shit. They had a poster mocking this garbage, showing a glass of water, and take a picture of a glass of water and you get something with it. Oh man, that was fucking brilliant. I was thinking about buying that game, but let's be honest here for a second. The mission itself that we're gonna get from Red Bull or whatever the fuck this shit is, it's probably gonna be some pointless shit. It's gonna take all of 2 minutes to complete or whatever the fuck it is. And a can of camel spunk costs very little, and you don't even have to drink that shit. Basically, you just have to pour all that shit out, get the fucking code or whatever the hell it is, but the fact is, It's the principle. Why the fuck are you locking this shit behind a promotion to an outside company and then limiting that shit to certain stores? Only for the month of July, you can get this shit in 7-Elevens here in the United States. Again, if you're in England, if you're in Australia, if you're in New Zealand, France, wherever the fuck you are, Germany, you cannot get this at all. Period. It's not available to you. The first time it will be available to you is January 1st. So let me get this straight. All these sugary fucking kids here in the United States that are already obese, that are already overweight, have to buy a fucking drink easily known to be tied to obesity and laziness, all for just one fucking mission. On top of that, they have to buy it at one fucking store for the month of July. Then in August, it'll be rolled out to all these other stores. But this is just absolute total bullshit, man. Why the fuck are you locking shit behind a promotion to an outside company? This is just sickening, man. You know, I can understand if a grown-ass adult wants to buy this drink, and only a fucking moron's gonna do that. But essentially, this shit is gonna be marketed to little kids. That's who's gonna be dying to get this shit. Little kids who should not be drinking that crap in the fucking first place. You know, it's one thing if you already like drinking Red Bull to begin with. It's one thing if you drink that shit on a daily basis. And if you do, please take some insulin shots afterwards. So if you drink it already, you get the content. Fine. Who the fuck cares? But for healthy people who avoid that garbage, do you really think they want to spend a nominal amount of money for a worthless fucking quest? And if so, do you realize what this sets up in the future? You know, when Call of Duty was doing the whole Doritos and Mountain Dew promotion, the idea was double XP. Buy our crap-ass products, get double XP in Call of Duty. Fine, and Red Bull sort of has that shit when it comes to Destiny. We're going to get some kind of XP boost as well when it comes to these cans. But no company is saying that if you buy our product, we'll unlock parts of the game for you. Imagine how that shit could occur in the future. Buy a bag of Cheetos and unlock the naked edition of Cortana in Halo 5 where you're trying to get her clothes back. Or buy any flavor of horseshit cookies from this homeless baker and get access to Fallout 4's toxic dump site, built right in the same spot where Bethesda's offices should be because someone should have bombed the shit out of that place already. Oh man, fuck you, Bethesda. Subscribe to HD Pornhub and we'll give you access to the bonus levels of Japanese Cunt Punt Part 2, the search for a bigger cunt. This is the path shit is going down. And the more people that buy this shit, the more companies will take advantage of this crap in the future. And it started with Activision and Call of Duty, and now it's transferring over to the other milking cow franchise, Destiny. It started out as bonus XP to rank up quicker, and now it's turned into locked content because of a promotion. The content itself isn't important. The money on a can of Red Bull isn't important. It's the business practice of denying access to a paying customer because they didn't buy a completely separate product. That is fucking bullshit. But the biggest fuck up of all was the Luke Smith interview. Holy shit, those who read it know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. But for those that don't, their lead designer did an interview with Eurogamer, and it was a blueprint on how not to do interviews. Now, first of all, we have to understand things. When you write something and you say something, it could come across as two completely different items. I could say something sarcastic in person, but it doesn't come across well when you write it out verbatim. It's quite possible, and more than likely, he was trying to give a sarcastic interview. He was trying to be funny, but again, when you put it in print, you come across as an asshole. And when you read this shit, all he does is come across as an asshole. First of all, he brushed up the topic of Europeans having to pay more money. Then, he talked about the content Year 1 players would have to pay for $80 just to get. He says the $80 product is about player assessment of value. More on that later. And when the interview says he's not going to talk about it again, he's not going to pay for extra content that he already has, Luke Smith continued. The interviewer says he's not paying for shit he already owns, and that's when Luke Smith really fucked himself over in the interview. Now, I won't go into the whole thing, but you guys can go Google it. Asking the interviewer, will he throw money at the screen, and chastising him for not buying content he already has. The issue that was being addressed was the fact that the super duper motherfucker edition of the game came with these items that weren't going to be available to existing players. If you have Destiny, there was no way of getting these useless items unless you spent $80 fucking dollars. Yes, $80 for useless items that including a dance, shaders to change the color of your armor, whatever the fuck it is, and these class items that offered up XP bonuses. They only came with the edition that already has the game and the DLC. So the big question was, why would I pay $80 for just a couple of items when I had everything else in that $80 package? Luke fucked that interview up and pretty much antagonized the interviewer as to why he won't buy it. Needless to say, this was a public relations nightmare for Bungivision. Fans are pissed off. We've been pissed off. We paid too much for a game. We see a cheaper option available to new players. We're having content locked behind a Red Bull shit promotion and can't get certain items unless we pay for content we already have. And this motherfucker's antagonizing the interviewer, basically saying that Destiny's players are mindless idiots who will throw money at the screen. So, Bungivision went into damage control and they had to release an update to quell fans' rage. So what was their solution? I'm sorry, fuck you, pay me. I'm dead serious about that. I'm sorry, fuck you, pay me. The items that people were bitching about, which are useless items to begin with, I mean, like I said, fucking dance shaders, XP items, whatever the fuck it is, are now available for the low price of $20. $20 fucking dollars. Are you fucking kidding me? Your unlock pack with DLCs were $20 fucking dollars, and now you're gonna tell us that these Barbie doll dress-up items are also worth $20? Get the fuck out of here with that shit. I get where they got the price tag. They looked at the price difference between the Legendary Edition and the Super Duper Motherfucker Edition that comes with these items, and it's 20 bucks. Essentially, they value these products at $20. However, you're valuing that shit at $20 for brand new players. You're also telling your existing players who paid already all this fucking money to play your bullshit game, it's also $20 fucking dollars. In addition, year one players are getting extra shaders and a sparrow as a token of their appreciation. Holy fucking shit, man. Never in my life have I seen a company issue an apology that cost you something. That's basically what they did. I'm sorry, fuck you, pay me. It's nice to see them apologize, but to make people pay an exorbitant amount of money for cosmetic items is this year's version of horse armor. And those who are old enough know exactly what horse armor I'm talking about. I just can't get over the fact that this is how tone-deaf Bungivision really is. It's painfully and hilariously laughable that their apologies are just another big fuck you to players. The Witcher 3 passed 4 million in sales, and developers said, thank you, here's some free DLC. Destiny passes 20 million in sales, and we get thanks. Fuck you, pay me. That's the level of embarrassment when it comes to this shit, man. Anyways, as you can see, this rant was over 20 minutes long, and I still have more to rant about, so that's why we're cutting this into 2 parts. Tomorrow's video addresses the stupidity of the Bungivision community of players. A community so fucking far removed from reality, they defend the practice of being ripped off and shit on by this game. So you'll definitely want to stick around for that video. So as always, rate, comment, subscribe, and all that good shit. And I'll see you in part 2 in tomorrow's rant that finishes up this motherfucker.